Coming up, the latest on the flood threat and the situation in Ukraine.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. The heavy rain has mostly moved out, but will we see more overnight? For the latest on the flooding threat, let's check in with meteorologist Evan Hatter as our severe weather alert day continues. Evan?
Well, Steve, we're actually in pretty good shape at this hour now that we do have some rivers that are in minor flood stage or will crest in the next 24 hours into minor flood stage. But we've shut the rain down across much of the southern part of the area with a little bit more to go. Let's take you outside right now. First, flood watch continues for all but those northern 5 counties we've talked about over the past couple of days. Flood warnings continue. We have 4 of them. We have 1 for the Cumberland River at Williamsburg. We have 2 on the Kentucky River, 1 at Ravenna, 1 at Heidelberg, and then 1 clipping far southern and southeastern Claiborne County in Tennessee for the Clinch River not far from Tazewell, Tennessee. Those all run through the weekend because that's when the water's going to actually fall. Look at this temperature map. You can tell where the warm front is. It's still 40 in Jackson, 40 in Prestonsburg, 50 in London, 59 in Williamsburg. It's 64 in Harlan. If you were to go as the crow flies from Harlan to Jackson, about roughly 40 miles. Obviously, it would take you longer to drive, but about 40 miles. And we're talking a temperature difference of about 25 degrees. You could thank southerly winds for that. That warm front pushing through, but the cold front's not far away. We've still got some light rain to go before we're all said and done with this system. But so far, so good, though any rain is not welcome, at least at this point. But the heaviest showers remain across portions of the volunteer state. So low 40s once we get to daybreak out there as rain chances continue around the mountains tonight. I'll have the very latest coming up in just a bit. Steve?
All right, obviously at least some minor flooding going on because we do have a few school closings tomorrow. You can see those at the bottom of your screen or on our news and weather apps. Today marks the second day of war after Russia invaded Ukraine, the largest war in Europe since World War II. More than 130 Ukrainians have been killed so far and hundreds injured, but the death toll is expected to sharply rise. CBS's Skylar Henry reports from Capitol Hill on today's developments.
Blasts lit up the night sky just after sunset in Kharkiv in eastern Ukraine. These tanks are evidence of the fierce fighting from the night before, as Russia sent in troops from 3 sides and launched more than 100 airstrikes. This video was captured when a Russian fighter jet flew overhead.
It's really terrible. I got up at 5 o'clock and I listen a lot of bomb.
He'll spend the night underground with hundreds of others in a subway station.
It will be scary to stay at home at night. It will be dark.
Also in eastern Ukraine, this apartment building was bombed, killing at least 1 and injuring 15 others. In an early morning address, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky ordered a full military mobilization and urged his people to stay calm. He said he has information he's the #1 target for Russian forces, but vowed to remain in Kyiv. Ukraine also reported losing control of the Chernobyl nuclear plant after a tough battle. The White House says it's outraged about reports that Russian troops are holding the staff there hostage. Earlier, President Biden announced more sanctions against Russian banks and oligarchs and restrictions on high-tech exports.
Putin is the aggressor. Putin chose this war, and now he and his country will bear the consequences.
The president also sent 7,000 additional troops to Germany. Here on Capitol Hill, members of Congress were given an unclassified briefing Thursday afternoon.
I have some advice. Ratchet the sanctions all the way up.
Meanwhile, Ukrainians streamed out of cities desperate to escape. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Martial law was declared in Ukraine and there's an overnight curfew. So you might be wondering, how does this affect you? We talked with an educator at the University of Kentucky who says it was just a matter of time before the Russia invasion happened, but now it could all impact your wallet.
In the long run, if the sanctions hold, we could see changes in what the energy sector looks like in the United States, right? We could see liquid natural gas exports to Europe, which I know would make a lot of people in the United States happy.
Gas Buddy reports the average gallon of gas in Kentucky is $3.23 a gallon. Many fear that's only going to go up. Today, the Kentucky Senate passed a controversial bill aimed at regulating how history is taught in classrooms. Senate Bill 138 passed along party lines and will now head to the House for a vote. It would regulate how history is taught in schools when it comes to subjects like race. Opponents say it amounts to classroom censorship, but the bill's sponsor says it is meant to unify people. Also passing the Senate today, Joint Resolution 150, which would end the COVID state of emergency in Kentucky. The General Assembly just voted to extend it to April 14th last month. This bill would end it on March 7th. Its sponsor says the emergency is over, so the order should be as well. Governor Beshear says being in a state of emergency opens up federal funding that is still being used. State troopers say it was a credible tip they received late Tuesday that eventually led them to name Shannon Gilday as the suspect in a now high-profile Madison County murder case. Nearly 72 hours after Jordan Morgan's death, Gilday is still on the run in connection with the crime. Troopers say he forced his way into the home early Tuesday morning before killing Jordan and shooting her father, former State Representative Wesley Morgan. Troopers say they have not found a direct connection between Gilday and the family or a motive, but believe he had violent intentions when he broke in.
We know that he was armed with a rifle. Very shortly after making entry, almost immediately, that's when those shots started being fired, and Miss Morgan was fatally struck. So it doesn't appear that it was necessarily just a burglary. There was a criminal action and a violent intent, we believe.
Troopers say they believe Gilday may have camping equipment with him in his car, believed to be a white 2016 Toyota Corolla. They are asking people who live in rural areas or near state parks and national forests to be on the lookout. The Pikeville Police Department is receiving some upgrades. In the past year, officers have received advanced training, new cruisers, breathalyzers, mobile database units, and as of yesterday, new ballistic vests. These vests are rated higher than the current everyday vest officers wear, and officials say it's a great tool to keep officers safe while serving warrants.
These will stop a higher caliber rifle rounds, and what this does is it puts the officer, makes him more safer for him to be entering in these houses. A lot of these houses are going to have, normally where you have illicit narcotics, you're going to have firearms, specifically high caliber firearms.
Officer Khan also said the entire department is ecstatic about the newest upgrades and wanted to thank the city of Pikeville and the entire community for their support. Food insecurity exists in every Kentucky county, and people may be overlooking a resource that supplies fresh local food. WYMT's Zach Hawk spoke with farmers and officials about how the community-supported agriculture concept connects people and creates food security.
February 23rd through March 4th, farms will be recognized as part of the Community-Supported Agriculture Initiative.
Being able to connect consumers with farmers and being able to see that direct connection between a consumer and then to have them meet with a farmer and be able to find that farm fresh food directly.
There are community-supported farmers serving every eastern Kentucky county. Andy Stevens with Happy Hens Homestead is just one of them.
At the beginning of the season, we start with the CSAs, and so that money is already there, so I can buy seeds and soil amendments and get things going.
Another supplier is Sustainable Harvest Farm in Laurel County, the region's largest certified organic producer.
Most farmers that I know, especially produce farmers, if there's a customer out there that wants to buy their product, they'll sell it to them as long as it's an easy transaction.
Both of these farmers deliver their CSAs directly to people, supplying a community alongside traditional stores.
Well, there's only so many things that they can sell, so being able to provide food for our community members is important to us.
State officials hope these programs can grow in popularity, maintain affordability, and get food to people who need it most. In Perry County, Zach Hawk, WYMT Mountain News.
The farmers we spoke with said the CSA Fair transitioning to a virtual format because of COVID-19 has been positive for business. They expect to sell out of shares before the fair ends. Looking for live music in the Laurel County area? Well, the 3rd annual Heritage Music Series is coming up, splitting it up into 2 concerts. Grayson Jenkins and Laurel Lewis will be performing March 4th. On March 11th, Cole Chaney and Lance Rogers will be playing. Event organizer Jessica Blankenship says they always try to keep things fresh.
We also partner with OTG, O-Town Grill here in London, and they're having heavy appetizers as well as a cash bar. So we're kind of partnering with them. That way you can have a drink, you can have an appetizer, eat, enjoy the show.
Blankenship says both performances begin at 7 p.m. at the Heritage Hills Banquet Hall and Theater. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, nearly every COVID test in Kentucky has gone through Wild Health's lab. We'll take you inside for a rare look at how it operates.
And keeping an eye on the potential for more heavy rain, especially in our southern counties. I'll have the latest on the way next.
DQ Meat Lovers Breakfast Bowl is the ultimate meal to meet your morning. Just look at that